My name is Paul Carolyn. I am the chair of the Medicine Hat Police Commission, and I'd like to recognize our new vice chair, Commissioner Dirk. Thank you very much. And we'll get right into things here tonight. I'm going to open with an land acknowledgement. The Medicine Hat Police Service and the Medicine Hat Police Commission honors and acknowledges that we are situated on Treaty 7 and Treaty 4 territory, traditional lands of the Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, Stoney Nakoda, and Tsuut'ina, as well as the Cree, Sioux, and Saulteaux bands of the Ojibwe people. We also acknowledge that we are on the traditional homelands of the Métis Nation. Conflict of interest for Commission. I would ask that any Commission member participating in this committee meeting to advise the Chair if they have any perceived or known conflicts of interest as per the items listed in the agenda. Seeing none, thank you. We'll move forward to the agenda. The agenda was circulated. Motion from Commission to approve. Commissioner Johnson, a seconder. Commissioner Dirk. Anybody abstained? Opposed? The agenda is approved. Previous minutes were also circulated. Motion from the Commission to approve the previous minutes. Commissioner Dirk, Vice Chair Dirk, I'll have to get used to that. Commissioner Hirsch, anybody opposed, abstained? The minutes are also carried. Thank you. Moving very quickly to standing items, we'll have a police service budget from Chief Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll keep this brief. Currently projecting a slight negative variance at year end. As we do monthly, we'll continue to monitor it and continue to drive that downwards as we can, but that's where we're at as it stands right now, projected.
Thank you, Chief Murphy. We'll move on to the AAPG report. Vice Chair Dirk.
Thank you. So the AAPG board met in Calgary on Saturday, September the 14th, and some of the meeting highlights are 4 items. First one is the Police Review Commission. That's the public complaints directors for policing commissions and policing committees and commissions in Alberta. There was a resolution passed in the AGM at the AAPG conference last May that the AAPG opposes the elimination of the public complaints directors. The Minister, Mike Ellis, responded to this in a letter to the chair of the AAPG, so I'm just going to give you the highlights. Given that the role will be eliminated from the Act, civilian oversight groups may wish to appoint an appropriate person to an equivalent position if they feel it would benefit their organization's strategic goals. This would have to align with the intake processes of the new Police Review Commission. The PRC implementation team's engagement with police commissions and policing committees is continuing throughout the summer and fall. Civilian oversight groups have been open to bridging the gap between the role of the public complaints director and the community's needs. A full-time professional from the AAPG has been appointed to provide important strategic advice to ensure policies align between the police governance bodies in Alberta and the PRC doing the transformation. That's first item. The second item is training for commissionaires. They're still working on updating a new course that will align better with the new Act, but the course is available now. If anyone's interested in registering for that course, if you can contact me, I will direct you to how you can become registered. There are 8 modules that you can go through. And I started it when I first was on the commission, and then I quit. And so now I'm in the process of re-registering so I can continue the course. The third item is the dissolution that we talked about at quite some extent, some length, is the dissolution of the Civilian Advisory Committee, which is a CAC. So recently, the Alert Board has dissolved the CAC without prior consultation or discussion. Alert is now operating without civilian governance or oversight. This was a concern of the Commission. There was a letter of the board, I should say, So there was a letter sent to the minister, Minister Ellis that is, expressing concern over this dissolution of the CAC associated with Alberta Law Enforcement Response Team, ALERT. The background, the CAC was created in 2018 to strengthen community engagement and stakeholder relations related to ALERT's role in public safety. The role of the CAC was to ensure transparency and accountability in ALERT's operations. This letter was sent on April 3rd by Tyler Gandham, Alberta Municipalities President, Paul McLaughlin, Rural Municipalities of Alberta President, and Ian Sanderson, the chair of the AAPG. The minister responded to the letter on September the 5th to explain the dissolution of the CAC, and the explanation is as follows. I'm summarizing the letter. ALERT is governed already by a board of directors and is appointed an appointed chief executive officer who is a sworn police officer. Because of ALERT's unique structure compared to Alberta police agencies, the assigned police officers remained employed by and accountable to their home agencies, and with the dissolution of the ALERT CAC, the board of directors will explore other avenues and approaches to engage with communities. The fourth item is the next conference, the 2025 AAPG conference and AGM will be held and hosted by Westlock on May 2nd and 3rd of 2025. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dirk. Any questions for the AAPG report? Commissioner Johnson?
So, am I missing something here, or they have this course for new commission members, and they're rewriting the course. So if they're rewriting the course, why bother starting taking it until the course is written?
Many of the modules are undergoing updating, and many of the modules still are relevant to what you need to know as a new commissioner.
Do we know what those what updated ones are going to be, or?
Anything that's going to be updated will be updated simply so it does not conflict with the changing of the new act, the Police Act.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you for that report. Item number 7, Office of the Chief report, operational services from Inspector Thompson.
Good evening. Just a few highlights that I would like to speak about from the operations section over the past couple of months. Our patrol section has been extremely busy with numerous complex files for investigation, one of which occurred on August 23rd, where patrol officers responded to a domestic violence complaint. Upon arrival, it was believed that the male subject inside the structure was armed with a weapon. As a result, given that it was a multi-dwelling complex, patrol officers had to evacuate the complex and just for public safety. Following that, the subject that was barricaded inside of the residence was not willing to exit or be peacefully taken into custody. So members of our tactical team and crisis negotiator team were called out in efforts to de-escalate the situation. After approximately 3 hours of negotiations, our members from the tactical team were able to finally get the subject's attention. With the assistance of Medicine Hat Fire, they had to utilize the fire bucket truck, and they were able to get the subject's attention, and they took him into custody without incident. The subject had been arrested for forcible confinement, assault by choking, breach of probation, and breach of conditional sentence order. Another highlight that I would like to report on is Constable Guerrera and PSD Freezer. They completed their basic canine training in Edmonton, where they'd been the last 6 months. So Constable Guerrera and Freezer, they successfully certified on September 9th, which is great news. And we we welcomed them back to patrols with open arms, and actually Constable Greer and PSD Fraser, they worked their first night shift on Monday night. So so I know that the patrol section was very happy to have them back. So it's a great addition back to patrols. Lastly, as you know, our traffic investigative unit has been very busy over the summer months with several investigations and whatnot. One in particular was an investigation that traffic was required to conduct for a fatal motor vehicle collision which occurred in July, resulting in 3 youth who were faced with criminal charges as well as provincial charges. The initial investigation saw police, fire, and emergency medical services respond to a motor vehicle collision on Strachan Road. The investigation revealed that a moped was struck from behind by another vehicle, and a 15-year-old boy, male driver of the moped, suffered serious injuries and later succumbed to his injuries. Again, as a result of the investigation, a male youth was charged with dangerous driving causing death, and 2 other male youths were charged with provincial traffic offenses. And that's it from operations.
Thank you, Acting Inspector Thompson. Any questions for the Operations Services? Commissioner Johnson?
On your first call there, was there a whole negotiation team called out, or how does that work? What, is it just the negotiators that have to be working, or did you call out a whole team?
Yeah, so actually each one of our patrol teams are, they're staffed with a variety of skill sets. So each one of our patrol teams have tactical members. They also have trained crisis negotiators. So in this particular call, the patrol team that was working, they tried to resolve the barricaded subject call with their on-duty tactical members and negotiators. However, their efforts weren't successful, so we ended up upgrading it to a stage 2. And when it goes to stage 2, that's when we call out the rest of the tactical team, crisis negotiators, and critical incident commander.
Thank you.
Commissioner, sir? Just your microphone, thank you.
Oh, sorry. Just a question regarding that 15-year-old on the moped and also the other people involved in that. Did that cause you to bring the school resource officers into discussions with those, I call them kids, but young adults?
I can't speak to that right now, sir. I don't know exactly the involvement that the school resource officers may have had. They absolutely would play a critical role in a file like that if the traffic investigators did need extra information. Again, given the fact that it had happened during the summer months, I'm not sure what role the school resource officers played in that.
Okay, I'm sure they knew all the kids involved or all the young adults involved, but would be maybe a good thing to connect them with the families. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. They have tons of information with all of the youth in our city because they spend lots of time with them at schools and whatnot. So I think that's probably very accurate.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. We'll move on to Investigative and Support Services Report, Inspector West.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of things. One from the Major Crimes Unit. So in August, officers responded to an altercation in the Tower Estates area following an ongoing dispute between 2 males. Several individuals were at a residence where a fight occurred, and the confrontation escalated, resulting in one of the males being shot by the other within or inside the trailer. We didn't have any cooperative victim witnesses or really anybody on this particular file, so the major crimes investigators had a difficult and involved investigation. However, they did get to the bottom of it, and it led to the arrest of 2 Medicine Hat men who were charged with multiple offenses, including assault with a weapon, possession of a controlled substance, and numerous firearms offenses, which included unauthorized possession and possess restricted weapon. On the complete opposite sort of spectrum, just to announce that in August, we had the announcement of the resignation of our VA supervisor, Laura Deschamps, so we began the search for a replacement for her. So Laura's been with us for several years and just done a great job in that position, and she's taking on a similar position in the town of Cochrane, which is a regional job, and she's done that to be closer to her family. She's got a daughter that lives in Cochrane and a son that's soon to move to the Calgary area. So we wish her well. As far as the search for a replacement, we have narrowed that down, and we're working with City HR to make a final offer of employment. So, and that's all I have for the report.
Thank you, Inspector West. Any questions for Inspector West? Seeing none, move on to Chief Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I won't go into any of the activities that are noted in the report. Happy to answer questions about them. The other thing I'll just reiterate, without going into the information that Acting Inspector Thompson or Inspector West mentioned, with a lot of large events in our city over the summer months, in the past 8 weeks, a lot of significant events, including the fatal collisions. And our thoughts and our prayers go out to all those that lost loved ones in those events. It's very tragic when those things happen, especially in a community of this size, I think, in any community. But here, due to the size of the community, it's, I think, felt a lot harder. Additionally is our police officers have done a great job in the last 8 weeks. Summer can be busy on its own with all the things going on in town, and people are on vacations and whatnot, so we tend to be a little shorthanded. But they did, and they pulled together, they did an amazing job to deal with all the events we had to deal with over the past 8 weeks. And my hats go off to them and to Inspector West, Acting Inspector Thompson, and all the people. And it's not just, it's all the civilians in the background. A lot goes into this to get media releases out in a timely manner. And Rita Sittler, who's here with us, our Manager of Police Business Services, she has a big part in that. So a lot goes into it that people don't see, and some they do see in terms of the uniform members. But I just, hats off to everybody for managing the event so well. And I think there is a heavy weight on the police officers around this, but they do such a great job of that. So hats off to them for coming into work every day with their chin up and getting the job done. But it hasn't been easy, I'm going to tell you, in the last 8 weeks in a city our size and a service our size, where we have the amount of police officers and everybody in the service and the community for supporting us, because we sure feel the support in a community like this, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief Murphy. Any questions for Chief Murphy? Seeing none, I will just take the opportunity, Chief, and to the service, on behalf of the commission, we commend you. It's as you know, a small community, and those large files hit the public knowledge very quickly, whether it's official releases or not. And we understand that you're balancing the need for criminal investigations and public privacy, but I think you've captured an incredible balance between keeping the public informed, and we thank you for that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson?
Chief, when you have emotional calls like, and such a stretch of them that you've had, is there anything that you need from us or from the commission to ensure that that the members involved are in good shape and are healthy and emotionally and physically? Is there anything you need from us?
I do think, like over the year, Commissioner, it's helpful to our members to know that the commission supports them. And I think good governance is in this forum, but I think that our police officers, if they understand that they're leaders in the building, but also people like yourselves that are supporting them in this community, I think that goes a long way. If commissioners go on a ride along, they show up the building and take an interest in what the members do, I think that's a big deal to them. And I think just little things like that is what matters. And I think if they see you around, it's helpful. We have a lot of different things in place, obviously, around the wellness of our officers when we deal with stuff like this. But I do think it matters when they see the commission around and they see you in the building here and there, and just that you're at events and you're thanking them for the work they're doing. Like, many citizens in this community are very good at that. And just an example of it, just a couple days ago, there's a young fella in our city got pulled over on a motorbike. And he got a couple tickets out of the deal and some other things he didn't get. But he was so impressed with the professionalism of the member that pulled him over that he wrote me an email. And he just thanked. He said, "I couldn't believe how your member explained it." And he explained the why, and he cut him a break on some things and some things he didn't. But just that professionalism, and this is a member that it's one of our traffic members who've involved in investigating these fatal collisions. So it just shows the professionalism and the time they take with people. And even though this guy got a ticket or two, he sent me an email. He was so impressed with that. So that's pretty cool to me. When people are often in today's society will take the time to put something on social media that's negative, but I don't see a lot of things positive come to me that say, "Hey, thank this member for me," and he got a ticket. So I thought that was pretty cool. So we thank the member for what he did in the presence of a patrol briefing and of his peers, because that's a pretty cool thing. And I don't think it happens enough, and it goes a long way, and I think it goes a long way from the commission to our members.
Thank you.
Any follow-ups for Chief? With that, we will jump all the way to community consultation. We have no business for this evening. Before we move into community consultation, I will just note the following. We are now going to move into public consultation portion of the meeting. I would ask that any member of the public who is present raise your hand, and if you would like to ask a question or have a comment you'd like to share. To ensure fairness, each member of the public will be given 2 minutes to answer their question or share comments. Any questions or comments will be directed towards the chair of the Police Commission, who may ask the police service to respond. Please note that complaints about officer conduct and MHPS policies are not topics for this forum, as there is process under Alberta Police Act for such matters. Also, ongoing investigations and personnel matters are not to be discussed in open meetings as per the provisions set out in the Alberta Police Act. With that in mind, is there anybody present who would like to approach the podium? Thanks, Ian. With nothing from the community, we'll just update the upcoming meetings. So the next Police Commission meeting is in Council Chambers on October 16th at 6 p.m. And the following one is scheduled for November 20th in Council Chambers at 6 p.m. With that, motion to adjourn. Vice Chair Dirk. Meeting is adjourned at 18:23.